Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Nathan Ferris, studio expert here at ABC Trainerize. And today I've invited Kody Anderson, fitness manager at Smart Golf in Chicago, to explore how they've managed to roll out ABC Trainerize to all their members, give their clients an unparalleled experience, and really expand their services. Kody, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. So do you mind introducing to the people at home what your background is in terms of fitness and what your current role is here at Smart Golf?
So my background is actually in athletic training. I graduated with my degree in athletic training from Northern Illinois University and worked as an athletic trainer for several years and for the university itself for a little bit before finding Smart Golf and getting more into the fitness side of things. For those that don't know, athletic training is more sports medicine based, injury diagnosis and things. And yeah, while I was working with NIU, I happened to find Smart Golf, just kind of looking around different jobs, and things just kind of worked out. I've been with Smart Golf now for 4 years. It's been great.
And that's why we were excited to have you guys, is because the typical use case of ABC Trainerize would be personal trainers or gyms, but it can be used across really any discipline of fitness. And that's why we're really excited to share your guys' journey with the app and what kind of experience you offer too, because it is very unique in even the golf world. Right, we were talking a little bit earlier about it's not like a Top Golf per se where you're just coming and having some food and some drinks and hitting balls. Like
Right.
This is a very serious training experience, and you guys are offering something that's really cream of the crop. So on those lines, we'll take a look here, 20,000 foot view of what our chat's going to be about. So naturally, everybody who's watching this is looking for ways to increase their revenue, talk about how they're going to get more people in the door and keep them in the door. Now, everyone really knows that tech is supposed to be a part of that experience, but the question always comes back to, how do we roll that out? How do we integrate something like Trainerize into our existing business model to make it better for our members, which is exactly what you guys have done across all your members. So what we want to cover first here is let's just look at what you guys do and really what your service offerings are and who you help. And then we'll get into some of the nitty gritty of how you rolled it out and some of the features that you're using. So why don't we start there? I guess in terms of, what your services are and who you guys help.
So we're a membership-based facility. Any client that comes in here, the first thing that they go through our initial assessment process. And it's kind of what we base everything off of. We sit them down for a 20-minute interview, just at a table, kind of find out some background about them, about their golf game, and about past fitness experiences. And it's just an easy way, an easy introduction to the person, and kind of just walking through the initial assessment, I guess. We take them into the hitting bay after the interview. They hit on all of our technology, TrackMan, Body Track, K-Vest. We have a lot of pieces of technology that we kind of include in our services. And after they hit with the golf coach for 30 minutes, we take them back in the gym and we do the physical screen. And we go through and try to identify any sort of weak points that they have. We bring them back up, and then we kind of define a plan for them going forward. And that's where they can choose their membership at that point. So we offer a quarterly membership, a semi-annual membership, and an annual membership, each of them coming with one golf lesson and one fitness session per week, unlimited use of the hitting bays, all of that stuff. And once they go through that initial assessment, that's when we send them the email from Trainerize to sign up for the app. And it's a requirement for them. It's how we communicate between coach, trainer, and client. That's one of the major uses that we use it for, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And essentially, as soon as they're done with that assessment, they get that email, they download it, and it's up and ready to go. And it's an easy process once you kind of get used to how it goes, as far as wrapping up that assessment or wrapping up with a client, and just rolling it out to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll dive a little bit more into how we actually roll it out with your coaches, because that's also a big question we get, is how do you get people to do this when they're so used to using Excel or Docs? Everyone has their own system.
Right.
So we'll get into that in a sec. But I guess probably the more pressing question for me would be, what was the reason that you even brought Trainerize into your business? Like, what was kind of the key motivator for you guys?
Yeah, we were using a separate app that had a lot of functionality for our golf coaches. It could do anything that they needed, but it didn't do anything that the fitness professionals needed. It didn't do any sort of programming. We couldn't make any workouts or anything like that. And that's obviously a big part of our business. So we made the decision we did a lot of research and tried to find the best of both worlds. And Trainerize happened to meet the most amount of requirements that we had. And it could do basically everything that the golf coaches needed. And it could do absolutely everything that the fitness professionals needed. So it was kind of an easy switch.
Sweet. Yeah. And I think that for anyone watching at home, like that's the bread and butter of what we do really well is going to be the programming and client communication. So if you're using multiple apps or your coaches are using different apps and it's just not a seamless experience for everyone across your team and for your clients, then putting it under one roof is really the main reason that most gyms come and seek us out.
Yep.
So along those lines, it sounds like you had a pretty good process of rolling it out to people. So let's look at that. What was your rollout process when you first started using it?
I mean, we essentially just sat down. Like I said, everybody who comes in goes through that initial assessment. So we had everybody's information all in one spot. And it was just a little bit of front end work. Like it's just going through, sending out the emails. Next time you see that client, like I said, we see every client twice a week from whether it be a golf lesson or a fitness session, having them download the link. And everything was basically there for them. I mean, like I said, there was a little bit of front end work, but it really isn't difficult to do, or really a barrier to getting people onto it.
Like how long do you think would have taken you guys to really feel like you had started using it? Like for most people, it's a month. Was it?
Yeah. To really get in the groove of things with like, I mean, every coach obviously has their in-person sessions. So it's about 30 a week there. And with any extra time, I mean, just using that extra time to kind of get used to the platform. And it really walks you through it pretty easily anyway. So once you kind of get into the habit of moving everything from your Excel sheet or whatever else that you have onto Trainerize, I mean, it is basically an Excel sheet in itself. And as you get used to it, you can program things to advance through a program, no problem. I mean, you don't have to do a whole lot of manual entry after going through and building the program in the first place.
Yeah, and actually, this is a really good point that you bring up. I'm thinking about program development, video filming. Did you guys add your own custom videos by any chance? And
we have hundreds. Like at one point, I didn't know if there was going to be like an issue with like how many that we could upload. But we have a lot of them. Being a golf and fitness establishment, we use a lot of the videos for some golf drills, and then we have a lot of very original exercises that we do here. Obviously, Trainerize does a very good job of having like all of the basic things on there, so we have a good library and catalog that we still use from Trainerize itself, but we also have a good amount of custom exercises, and we just go through and like if there's something that's not on there, we have a fitness meeting every week, and if we can talk about the exercise in the meeting, then we go through and we film it, put it up there. It's a really easy process to get those things uploaded.
That's a great call, man. Because I think the process of making the videos always confuses people. They go, how do I do this? I mean, for context, we're actually refilming a lot of the base videos right now. Actually, next week we're going to be featured. I'm going to be in there myself, so get ready for some squats.
Nice.
But to your point, and more practically, like the gym that I work at, we've been doing it in the same way where it's weekly meetings. We figure out what is the priority, and then we maybe do 10 to 20 in that meeting and just quickly upload them. Doesn't always need to be full professional shoot every single time.
No, you just bust out the iPhone and film a couple things. I mean, we make sure that like our logo's in the background, and that's about it. We like to use our custom exercises at any point because it has that little logo in the background, but like you said, you just go through and when we're talking shop in our fitness meeting, like, oh yeah, we need to put this exercise up there, go back and film it. It's just got to do it.
Well, hopefully I don't hear back from you in a month going, I needed to refilm your exercise, Nate, because yours wasn't very good.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Give me the form check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So it sounds like Rollout was pretty smooth, pretty easy for you guys. And you bring up a good point, because I think a lot of businesses or even online trainers that use Trainerize is they focus on one-on-one coaching. And that's really the bread and butter of what we do well. So if you are a personal training studio watching this, that would be the impetus, is to get people on board with this right away within your sessions and just make that part of your onboarding process moving forward. But for anybody who's an existing client, it's just meeting with them and just slowly rolling it out. Don't think of this as an all or nothing thing. You do it slowly over time.
Yep.
Cool. So on the client side, can you talk to me a little bit about what, I guess, you're using the app for? Like, how do they interface with it? Like, what are you really using it for on the client side?
We use it a lot for, like I said earlier, a group messaging system. The golf coach uploads their swing videos, or puts on the message board like what they did for the week as far as drills, or just so they can pull it up next week and see what they were doing last week. And then obviously on the fitness side, we use it for all of our programming, all of our exercises, all of our workouts, everything runs through there. And that's how we deliver all of our home exercise programs, and what people should be doing in the meantime. Because like everybody knows, you can't just come in for one session a week and expect to make a ton of progress. There's work to be done on your own, and Trainerize helps us deliver that to the clients. And getting the clients to adhere to the programs is the challenge. But it makes it as simple as possible to just pull up an app. It has every video in there. It has all the cues, everything. So that's mostly what we use it for. And it's been a big help as far as like keeping all the messages in one place. We can upload files to it. Like, I take my assessment still on like pen and paper, so I scan it as a PDF and upload it there, and it's in one spot. I can pull it back up later if I need it. So yeah, that's mostly how we use it.
I mean, that's a good transition into this kind of high level what your tiers of offering are. Because again, I think it's helpful for businesses to compare what they could be doing for certain price points. That's often a question I get, is how do I integrate an app into our pricing model? I understand that it's not a specific thing that you charge for. It's just included in all of your memberships. But do you mind walking us through like what your tiers are and what's included?
So we offer, again, our annual membership, our semi-annual membership, and our quarterly membership. Once you do one of those three, you can go month to month with us. Each of those includes one golf lesson, one fitness session per week, unlimited use of the facility, both the gym and the hitting bays. We use a separate app in order for them to book the hitting bays to make sure that they have one available for them. And yeah, I mean, within each of those tiers, that's what you get. Once you get to like the annual and semi-annual, you start getting certain discounts on like soft goods that we have in our retail shop and things like that. But there's nothing that's been hard priced in from the Trainerize aspect.
Gotcha. So to give some context here, for a lot of businesses in your scenario that I've spoken with, usually the next step then is to create some sort of online store through Trainerize and Stripe to create programs that serve a specific purpose, especially when it comes to skill development, right? In the world of strength and conditioning or athletics, we have a lot of businesses that will create like an intermediate program for certain age groups or for different people of different skill levels, I suppose. So if that's something that you guys have considered, like that would definitely be the most logical first step. That
actually just triggered, like we have that. We have done that.
Oh.
I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I mean, and it's something that's the reason I forgot about it is because it's like we've built it and it's there and it's functioning. It's like you can go on and buy those programs. Like we have a 30-day speed program as far as like golf swing speed goes. We have a couple other ones that, like you said, are certain age levels, certain levels of fitness that are up there for people to purchase. But yeah, like I completely forgot about it because we already built it. It's up there and it's like it does its thing. Like people come on and buy it, and yeah, it's great.
set it and forget it.
Yeah,
I guess that's what
exactly.
we
Yeah.
want. Awesome. Yeah. And for context, Ben, that's where you really open up that subscription tier. I've seen a lot of that. I'm sure you guys just have one-off fees if you want, but it
Yep.
is definitely more accessible way of
It's
interacting.
easy because we took a bunch of our programs that we have and we offer that as one of the things. Like if you want a monthly subscription, you can pay for that and then be on the list of like, we have something like 50 programs, I think, made that we can kind of pick and choose from based on different levels or different abilities with both golf and fitness. And you can go on there and once you purchase that monthly subscription, you can access any of them.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that's the strength of this, right? Is once you get all your coaches involved and they start building up this library of programs, not only can you monetize them, but then you can also save your coaches time in terms of developing programs for clients and sharing knowledge and making sure that the experience is consistent across all members
Yeah.
in the door.
Yeah. I mean,
Love it.
like you said, that you have different trainers that build different programs, and all of a sudden you have a library, and then you can put that up and monetize it. And you can take any of those programs, you can put them into a client's profile and edit it from there. Like if you want to take certain things out or put certain things in, like you can do all that. You can plug and play with like a framework of a program that you already had. So it takes a lot of, like once you do the front end work, it really makes it a lot easier.
And just a little tidbit, a little secret. I've been working with the product team here, and this is going to be something that's coming probably later this year or early next year. But we're excited that we're going to be adding in some blocks, training blocks, so you can separate your warm up from your main phase and your cool down, and then those that are actually would become interchangeable, I guess, workouts that you could swipe from other workouts. You could take the warm up from somewhere else, put it into this block,
Love that.
take the cool down from there. So yeah, it's going to get a lot smoother and a lot easier.
Love that. Because that's how I used to use like an Excel. Like I used to do everything by blocks, and like that in my brain that works a lot easier. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, always trying to improve here, man. It's a slow process. Building something takes time.
Yeah,
but
it is. Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, awesome, brother. Well, I think we've covered a lot of the nuts and bolts of it. So I usually leave this second section for a little bit more of like personal conversation. So. Is there anything that's kind of come up as you're in your role as your fitness manager over the last little while? Anything, any advice, I suppose, for anyone watching that is trying to get into the online space? Like anything that you want to share or any specific advice?
Just like I said earlier, like do the front end work, and it makes it so much easier from then on. It just takes a couple hours. Of putting some things together, and then you just continuously build as you go. Like it's not a one-on, like a full chunk of time right out the get-go. I mean, there might be like a chunk of time for a bit of that to get started, but like you just keep building on it as you go, and all of a sudden you have everything that you need and more, and you can just continue to, like, they're rolling things out like blocks. Like you can start to put that in there and makes everything even easier. Yeah, I mean, that's just my one simple piece of advice is just get started with it, and don't try to do all of it at once. Just slowly build it up.
Did you do a lot of that work yourself, or did you have someone on your team handle that?
We all did. It was a big team effort. I mean, you look at any of our custom exercises that are on there, and there's every single member of our team has some sort of video on there that they are in, and so I mean, it really does speak to the team that we have here, that puts in a lot of time and effort, but it shows in the product that we have. So,
well, you bring up a good point, man. I mean, I've heard people will hire someone off Upwork or Fiverr to just save them time if they're really strapped for time. But in an ideal state, you bring the whole team in and get them involved from the get-go, make them invested in the process of using this tool, so that it's not just like, oh, I have to use this thing. It's like, no, I'm helping to develop something that will help all of us. Right.
Get them invested. It helps to hold them accountable, helps to hold yourself accountable, and using it, and making sure that the whole team is moving forward in the same direction.
Exactly. All right, last one here. Are you much of a reader? Do you like Do you have different books
Occasionally, yeah. It depends on how busy I am with the little guy.
Okay, so maybe not just well, we won't narrow it to book, but is there any course or any book or anything that you think more people should know about in fitness or personal space? Doesn't matter. Anything you're keen on?
It's funny because every Thursday we have our staff meetings out here, and we start every meeting with a quote. And I use one from a book that I would recommend everybody read, especially in like the sport space, not just fitness itself. And it's called The Talent Code. It's a phenomenal book. It dives into how talent isn't something that obviously you're just born with. It's something that's developed, and then it kind of gets into the physiology and the how you actually go about learning something. As far as it does concentrate on a lot on like sport and music, but it is a very good book. Like I said, especially if you're in the sport space.
Do you know who it's by any chance?
Dave. Oh, I cannot remember his last name.
Okay. Sure
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah. Talent Code. All right. I like that.
Worth a good read.
All right. There you go. Love that. Cool, man. So I'm sure some people will be keen, especially if they're in the sports space. They might want to get in touch with you guys after. So is there a specific place they should reach out if they're looking for you?
Smartgolffitness.com. You can go on and fill out any questions on there. There's a little questionnaire form at the bottom, or that goes straight to our main email address. If anybody has any questions about things, they can fill one of those questionnaires out and send it on over.
Sweet. All right, brother. Well, thank you very much for this helpful chat. Really appreciate it. And for anyone at home, thanks for sharing your time with us. Hope to see you guys again soon, and hope this was helpful. From all of us at ABC Trainerize, stay well.